Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast. Oh, it's Friday the 13th, December 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Trusting you guys are having a wonderful week, a wonderful holiday season. Let's go ahead and hop into the charts for this Friday the 13th. I don't think this one's going to be scary, though. We have Venus coming off that opposition to Mars. We have Venus coming off that sextile to Mercury. Remember, Venus is the fastest moving planet right now. So that's where we feel most of the progression in our life as far as things actually moving forward and progressing. But remember, Venus is still technically starting to slow down because it will retrograde in Aries. It's not going to go much further. So it's like, yeah, things are progressing in a sense, but we still have to get through the thick of this Piscean fog, and then we're just going to slightly dip our toes into that Venus Aries energy, which remember is a detriment energy, so it doesn't necessarily feel the best there, and then it'll go back into Pisces. So we do have that moon, of course, here in Taurus. It starts the day around 26 degrees, or at least this is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see, of course, this moon shift into Gemini today, and we'll immediately make a trine over to that Pluto. And even though this is a trine, and trines are generally positive, this Pluto could still put a little bit of stress on this moon, and it's already stressed because the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is in its opposite sign, and it is retrograde. So, I would say just be prepared for, this could definitely bring up breakdowns in communication. This could bring up some weird, even technological kind of different things too. So maybe weird issues with like computers or internet connections and stuff like that. Especially with the trine over Pluto, it can be restructuring and reorganizing a lot of different things here. Things may feel a little bit off. The airwaves may feel a little bit off and stuff like that. So just something to be wary of. But this moon in Gemini does make the energy a little bit lighter overall. People generally, their emotions, people are more likely to actually speak about their emotions whenever the moon goes into Gemini. So that's kind of the nice thing. People won't necessarily clam up like they might do in, say, like Scorpio or like Capricorn or other earth signs like Virgo and stuff. Taurus, people are a little bit more open about their emotions, but it's very much so just like kind of like basic kind of stuff. But here in Gemini, people are going to turn into chatty catties, and like I said, with the ruler Gemini, Mercury over there in Sagittarius, it definitely can cause a bit of a slowdown because Mercury is moving slow itself. Mercury is not moving very, very fast. Mercury is going to be coming direct very soon, which is a positive, but we're still in that it's still gonna be on that shadow zone for a little bit. So we're trying, like I said, we're trying to get the big picture of things. We're trying to see the future. It's hard to have all the answers right now. And when your fastest planet, Venus, is moving not super fast at all, and it's not going to go much further than where it is currently, maybe another 60-ish degrees. I think it retrogrades at around like 4 or 5 degrees of Aries. So it's not going to go much further than where it is. So that's just something that we have to take into consideration. We're not really going to see a bunch of other aspects on this day, though, this Friday. We'll see, by the end of the day, we'll see that moon get really close to opposing Mercury, but it's not going to quite get there. We will trine over to the south node, and it will make a sextile over to the north node, as well as sextiling Mars. But like I said, that's going to be more towards the later half of the day. So a lot of people will be going to sleep around this time, at least on the eastern coast. But in other areas, or people may be going out and stuff like that too. So, I think this could be a nice energy for socializing and kind of getting out and kind of maybe getting out of, the rigidity in our mind and feeling like it has to look this way or has to be that way and stuff. And let me move this down. Oh, that's weird. I haven't seen it do that. Let me just. Oh, it's just too big, I guess. But yeah, so this can help us to kind of, get out of our own way, can help us to just kind of, loosen up a little bit, maybe have a little bit of fun and stuff. So I think Friday, like I said, it's a Friday the 13th. I think the scariest part of this Friday the 13th is the fact that maybe the holidays just don't really feel like the holidays this year. I think a lot of people are kind of To be honest, they're kind of over it. Not necessarily all over the holidays, but 2024 has been a wild year. I said earlier this year that the second half of 2024 was going to be much crazier than the first half. If you thought the first half was crazy, you haven't seen anything yet. And boy, has that pretty much come to pass. But Friday, I think it's about kind of keeping things light. And even though we may not have all the answers, even though we may not necessarily know how the thing's going to turn out, I think it's about just still remaining to remember to be grateful for those things that are working out. Remember, yeah, you're not gonna have all the answers. Things aren't going to completely align. You're not always going to feel like doing something. You're not always going to feel all the energy. You're not always going to always feel like that's the other thing about Leo. It's like it's romance, so it's like I think some people want to just really feel the romance and just kind of tap into that Disney esque Hollywood esque life, whether it is romantically or whether they're looking at it a situation with their family or with their job. They want it to, it's like everything just kind of turns out magically. You walk outside and you just have six birds that just perch on your arm, and the deer are coming out, and you're surrounded by all this fauna and stuff like that because they're not afraid of you. And reality is that when you go outside, you almost wonders like, where are the animals? It's like where are these things? I thought I was gonna be able to go outside one day and just have animals just come out the woodworks, but nah. Generally, they end up running away from you and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I wouldn't sweat it too much. Whenever like Friday the 13th, it's one of those things where it's like, for me personally, the way I've experienced it, sometimes it's either just a minor inconvenience or it ends up being like a really good day and stuff. So, it's just one of those weird, things. We have like a couple of them every single year, and I know it's also a day that a lot of people like to get married on. A lot of people like to get married on Friday the 13th, or they'll get like their Friday the 13th tattoos and stuff too. So that could be interesting. And honestly, with the moon in Gemini, might not be a bad idea. It's and the moon in Gemini. The cool thing about it is that it'll be a little bit more spur of the moment. It doesn't have to necessarily have some sort of big, deeper meaning and stuff like that. It could just be fun. I think if anything, this Friday, just remember to have fun and to kind of keep it light. You don't have to take things super, super seriously. Obviously, don't be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be, dang, I can't think of the word. You see, it just escaped me. Don't be like a loose cannon, I guess. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but don't be just like a loose cannon or loosey goosey about it and just be like, just go completely off the rails. But, you can loosen up, you can have fun, you can be a little bit more spur of the moment, a little bit more spontaneous, if you will. The good thing about this moon trining over to this Pluto is that this can help release some restrictions to some spontaneity. Pluto is it is about barriers, but it can also be about breaking down those barriers, and especially in Aquarius, which does kind of deal with randomness and does deal with like connection and vibration and stuff like that. Yeah, so maybe we have some restrictions that are keeping us from being a little bit more rebellious, a little bit more spontaneous, So the moon trining over to Pluto can maybe help to release some of those blockages. So we don't have to be as rigid and be all like, it needs to be this way. It's like, no, you gotta loosen up, you gotta have fun with it. And try not to really, definitely don't sweat the small stuff. The big stuff that you can't really control, that's one of those things where you have to kind of just let go and let God, if you will, or just, just trust in the process. But I think it'll be a good Friday the 13th. I don't think it'll be too crazy at all. So, but who knows? Who knows how exactly it will play out? So, that's just what the planets are saying. So, the other cool thing is that the sun's going to be at 22 degrees for most of the day. So that does come to 4, which is Uranian and Aquarius energy. So even more so, I think this is going to be a day about just kind of, even though Aquarius is a fixed sign, it's probably, ironically, one of the least stubborn out of the fixed signs. I would say that the most stubborn are probably Taurus and Scorpio, and then Leo and Aquarius aren't nearly as stubborn. So, but with that 22 degree sun, like I said, 2 plus 2 is 4. Yeah, this could also be a good day to connect with someone more on an emotional level. And just kind of like I said, have fun with it. You don't have to be as strict on yourself. You don't have to be too hard on yourself, but keep it light, keep it fun, and yeah. Let's see what we have card-wise. Honestly, I like it whenever the moon goes into Gemini. I know it's not necessarily the best place for the moon, but it does make things interesting, does make things inquisitive, if you will. People tend to become more curious when the moon goes into Gemini, so... I have the Page of Coins. Yeah, I really like this. This does keep it light. It's about, remember your values, of course, right? The coins is about values. It's about grounding. It's earthly, but it's about, yeah, you don't have to splurge or anything like that to have fun. You can keep it light. You can keep it fun. This is about realizing what's really important, and it's like those small moments that we can just appreciate. If you can create more of those small moments to appreciate, then life becomes fuller, life becomes much more satisfying, if you will. So I don't think we have to make anything super, super big. If there are issues that come up, if you can find a solution, cool. If that solution is going to take a while, it's going to take a while to manifest, then it is what it is. No need to commit more stress or energy to it. If you can't really do something about it, then it is what it is, And like I said, it's one of those let go, let God, trust the universe, trust the process kind of deal. But like I said, I think today is about keeping it light, keeping it fun, and, remembering to appreciate all of the things that we do have in our life. Even appreciating, if we look back on things, even maybe appreciating the things that we may have perceived as negative. Generally, we learn a lot through those things. That's where the most growth happens. And a lot of times we can laugh about it. So if anything, especially with the moon in Gemini, sextiling over to Mars, do something that can make you laugh. Because I think laughter and humor is going to be, it's a great antidote for stress. It's a great antidote for all those sort of things, and I think it's something that we really need to bring back. I'm kind of glad to see comedy starting to make a return. So that's going to do it for your astrology forecast this Friday the 13th. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey. If you did enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. But as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Friday, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.